This time on the world's most amazing videos. A pilot's nightmare happens, not once, but twice. And a traffic stop turns deadly when a cop is struck by a speeding car. Then, a massive hurricane strikes down Hawaii, spreading widespread devastation. Later, a fireworks launch goes wrong, exploding into a crowd. And a top-fuel dragster's tire blows out, causing a vicious crash.
These are the incredible true-life stories of people who face their most desperate hour and live to tell about it. Everything you are about to see is real. Real people, real danger, real excitement. Get ready to experience the thrill of a lifetime. You are about to witness the world's most amazing videos.
Pattaya Beach, Thailand. A raging fire has left a mother no choice but to hold her daughter out of a 15th-story window and let her go. The horrifying ordeal begins when a gas explosion rips through the Royal Hotel. Most of the guests are unaware of the furious blaze because the fire alarms and sprinklers are not working. Rochelle Stein-Salmi and her daughter Sauna are trapped in the inferno.
We heard people screaming outside the window, so I ran to our hotel door and opened the door thinking we're getting out of here. We were on the top floor. I'm sure I would have gone to the roof, which would have been the right thing to do, but the hallway was already full of smoke.
Rochelle decides to stay in their room and wait for help. For her daughter's sake, she forces herself to remain calm.
When I first found out, I had ran into the middle of the room and I just said to myself, I'm gonna die. But my mom just kept me going.
I said, we will wait, they will put out the fire, and we will walk downstairs. And that's what I really thought would happen. But of course the fire got out of hand.
Smoke quickly seals off the escape routes. They're trapped. Rochelle uses her cell phone to make a desperate call for help. Down below, firefighters attempt a rescue using a bucket truck, but their efforts fall short.
None of the equipment that they had there could reach up to the top floor.
The flames climb higher and higher with terrifying speed. A crowd gathered on the balcony of a nearby hotel can only watch in horror as every attempt to rescue Rochelle and Sauna fails.
I was unaware of time. I was just waiting and waiting and waiting and not allowing myself, truly not allowing myself to really comprehend what was going on.
The room is now completely filled with smoke. Clutching the window and gasping for air, Rochelle knows that time is running out.
I just yelled. I was so angry, because I thought, we've come this far and we're not going to make it.
Just then, a rescue chopper reaches the roof.
And all of a sudden we saw a rope dangling from our window, so we knew that this was our way out.
Using her daughter's teddy bear, Rochelle reaches out for the safety line. She's got it. Quickly, she places Sauna into the harness.
I do remember making eye contact with her and telling her, no fair falling. Making a little joke in that last minute, no fair falling.
The crowd cheers as the little girl is lifted away from the window and up to the roof. Now it's Rochelle's turn, but the harness gets twisted before she's safely strapped in. With no time to spare, rescuers are forced to pull up the rope. Rochelle manages to hang on as the men slowly raise her to safety.
I just felt like I had to be so strong for those 2.5 hours, and I think I did a pretty good job. But that when they finally hauled me over the top of the roof, I collapsed.
Mother and daughter are safe at last. Thanks to Rochelle's determination and the quick thinking of the rescue workers, she and Sana survived the devastating fire. Their ordeal has brought Rochelle and Sana even closer together.
My mom is really my best friend.
Kaua'i, Hawaii. Hurricane Iniki is bearing down on the tiny tropical island.
The Weather Service office in Honolulu forecasts that the eye of Iniki will pass just east of Kaua'i.
200-mile-an-hour winds batter the beachfront community, causing a church steeple to come crashing down. The roof of this house tears apart and is blown into neighboring homes. The raging surf pounds its way into people's backyards. Tony Wickman and his family are trapped inside their home. His 3 small children are terrified.
Daddy!
Yeah, John!
Suddenly, the storm escalates into a Class 5 hurricane, the most devastating of all. Tony is afraid that he and his family may not survive.
We had no idea it was a Class 5 hurricane till last minute. It just intensified a few hours before it hit land.
The fierce wind batters the roof of their house until it rips right off. Now, Tony's home, which has been in the family for 3 generations, is in danger of being destroyed.
That house was precious to us. It's an old family home. My grandfather, he was born and raised in that house.
Whoa! Our roof is going!
While his wife Lorraine huddles with the children, Tony continues to videotape the vicious storm as it pummels their home.
The whole top of our house is gone!
My husband was out there laughing hysterically, like he was almost going crazy that we were losing the house.
But there's a reason why Tony is laughing.
The whole sheets are gone already! Wow!
Well, the laughter to me was a way to cover up the fear for my kids. I didn't want them to feel frightened.
Tony fears that his family will be crushed to death in their own home.
I mean, this whole house is gonna go down. Look at the roof already.
Just grab things we want right now. I'm gonna grab the TV over there.
Oh my God!
The ceiling comes crashing down. Now, Tony and his family are in real danger.
I ran back down the hallway away from that area because once that ceiling caved in, that wall could have caved in on him or me, leaving the kids in the other side of the house alone.
The next day, as Tony surveys the damage, he is thankful that no one was hurt.
There's under here. There's Vicky.
For the Wickman family, their harrowing ordeal has taken an emotional toll.
Losing it like that means saying goodbye to all the memories, saying goodbye to Grandpa. So it was sad. It was sad.
As they rebuild their home, Tony and Lorraine continue to rely on laughter. Without humor, it would have been impossible for them to weather the storm.
Where's Mom? Come here, Mom. There she is.
Hi! Welcome to Hurricane Kaua'i.
San Francisco, California. A torrential rainstorm pounds the city, causing a century-old sewer pipe to burst in the middle of the night. The gushing water has created a mammoth sinkhole and left a 3-story home hanging precariously over the edge. During the night, the rain lets up, but the damage has already been done. Large sections of the house begin to break away. The next morning, as the giant crater spreads, residents of nearby homes are ordered to evacuate. They race to save their belongings, not knowing if they'll ever be able to return home again. But suddenly, the ground begins to shift. And then, all hell breaks loose. In a matter of seconds, the house tumbles and collapses into the hole. Iran Billman looks on in horrified disbelief as a lifetime of memories disappears before her eyes.
All my belongings of 35 years. That pile that you see is in there.
Thankfully, no lives are lost in this heartbreaking disaster. But these images are a lasting reminder that there is no safe refuge from the awesome power of nature. Teton Mountains, Wyoming. Extreme skier Todd Jones barrels down the jagged mountain, leaping off cliffs and soaring through the lightning-fast straightaways. Then, as he approaches a patch of new snow, Todd hesitates. This is the most treacherous part of the run, so he proceeds with caution. But suddenly, more than 200 tons of ice and snow break free, sweeping Todd away as it roars downhill. Incredibly, he manages to ride the crest of the avalanche. But as Todd reaches the bottom, the entire hillside comes crashing down on top of him.
And then the snow just started piling down on me and cycling me. It's like I was in a washing machine, like flipped upside down. That happened like 3 or 4 times.
Buried by the avalanche, Todd somehow finds a way to escape his terrifying ordeal.
I surfaced and I saw the air and I just started to back paddle. I just rode it out, the slide settled, and I was totally fine.
Remarkably, Todd survives and soon returns to the slopes. But the haunting memory of his brush with death will remain with him forever.
When you have time to reflect, that's when you realize, wow, that could have been a sketchy situation.
Oslo, Norway. Cameras are rolling when a track and field event becomes the scene of a bizarre accident. Finnish javelin thrower Juha Laukkanen needs just one more mighty toss to win the competition. He's in perfect form and gives it all he's got. Official Håkon Lund stands ready to judge the throw. But the blinding afternoon sun makes it impossible for him to see that the javelin is flying much further than expected. The judge quickly removes the spear, but the pain is too much to bear. Remarkably, he suffers only a minor flesh wound. Had he been standing just 3 inches to his left, the javelin would have plunged right into his chest, resulting in instant death.
Coming up, a traffic stop goes wrong when a cop is brutally run over. And a routine fire exercise goes up in flames. Then a gas station's fire erupts into a massive fireball. When the world's most amazing videos continues.
hot air balloons float above the landscape, splashing the sky with vibrant color. They defy gravity to become one with the clouds. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Balloonists from all over the world soar above the beautiful high desert.
Oh, it's like a rainbow. They're just all the different colors and shapes of all these balloons.
At the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, the pilots begin their descent into the landing zone. Watching from his hotel room, tourist Arthur Minizoli is awestruck.
I grabbed my camera and ran outside and started photographing all the balloons.
But suddenly, a shift in the wind sends the balloons off course. Some pilots are forced to land in dangerous locations, while others are blown into nearby buildings. One is headed for disaster.
So I ran around the balcony and was photographing it as it apparently was going to descend into a Little League baseball field.
The wind propels the balloon into the path of high-voltage power lines.
I could see through the viewfinder that there was obstructions in the little field there.
The pilot struggles to control the runaway balloon, but it hits the electrical wires, causing sparks to fly.
When they first went into those power lines, there was an enormous flash.
The basket hangs perilously. The power lines, coursing with deadly volts of electricity, continue to arc and crackle. The balloon's highly flammable propane tanks could explode at any second.
It's one of those things where your heart misses a beat. You know something's going to happen.
Rescue trucks are racing to the scene, but nothing can stop the inevitable.
You go call with ambulance. Call a rescue or something. Oh.
The fuel tanks explode, severing the basket from the balloon and sending the frightened passengers plummeting to the ground.
It was terrifying, and there's nothing you can do.
Arthur is convinced that he's just watched two men fall to their deaths.
Oh, I'm telling you, when you see that separation in the basket fall, you think, there they go. And if they were alive, they're not going to be.
But as the dust settles, he sees a sign of life.
And when the basket hit the ground, one of the fellows must have kind of rolled out.
The pilot and his passenger, Stuart Spicer, have survived. Although suffering from a concussion and broken bones, Stuart crawls through the dirt.
It knocked every ounce of wind out of me. I was crawling around on the ground, I remember, just gasping for air.
The rescue units finally arrive, and Stuart feels lucky to be alive.
I do think myself very, very fortunate to have walked away from this accident.
Sometimes I still well up in tears thinking about it, because it's very, very dramatic and terrifying to see something like that.
Working the highways alone at night, police officers face constant danger.
833, 1038.
Sometimes they never see it coming. Atlanta, Georgia.
20 eastbound at 285.
State Trooper Hank Fielding has pulled over the driver of this vehicle for speeding. It appears to be a routine stop.
DC license, please, sir.
The driver, Anthony Barber, is calm and cooperative. His female companion remains inside the car.
Been drinking anything tonight? No, sir. Not a drop. No, sir. Wait right there.
Trooper Fielding is not convinced. He checks out the man's driver's license and returns with a breathalyzer test.
All right, so I want you to take a deep breath, blow through the tube until I tell you to stop.
Then the trooper decides to have a look inside the car.
All right. Wait right there just a minute.
But while he's questioning the passenger, the driver steps up behind him.
All right. Sir, I ask you to wait right here. Okay.
But just as the driver moves back behind his vehicle, the speeding car slams into Trooper Fielding at 70 miles per hour.
It scared me. It really did. I couldn't believe what was happening. I mean, you see stuff like that on TV, but you don't ever think it'll happen to you.
I started trying to get up immediately, but I couldn't. My legs were just numb. They had no feeling in them.
Lying in the road, unable to move, the officer's life now rests in the hands of the driver he pulled over.
Go get on the radio and call for help.
On the radio?
Yeah. just tell them to send help for 833.
Fielding struggles to remain conscious while Anthony jumps into the patrol car and radios for help.
He was shaking real bad. I thought he was going to go into shock or something.
Anthony grabs a blanket from his trunk to keep the officer warm.
He covered me up and he stayed there with me and talked to me until other help arrived.
It ain't your fault.
Incredibly, the brutal accident causes only minor injuries. Another look reveals that the outcome could have been much worse. Watch again. It's clear that Anthony was standing directly in the speeding car's path just seconds before it struck the trooper.
Sir, I ask you to wait right here. Okay.
If I hadn't have told him to move and the car would have come, it would have struck him head on and would have probably knocked him into me, more likely killing us both.
Anthony was not arrested. He went home grateful to be alive.
I feel like I dodged the bullet. You know, too many people don't get second chances, but I feel like I got a second chance at life, really.
As for the hit-and-run driver, you can see her stop momentarily after the collision. But then, unbelievably, she drives away.
They just left me there on the side of the road. I mean, they didn't know if I was dead or severely injured or what.
The driver is later found and arrested. But to this day, she has never apologized for causing this near-fatal accident. San Diego, California. Lifeguard Charles Davy is demonstrating how to fight a fire at sea. News cameraman Paul Makarushka is covering the drill, which he expects to be routine.
That's how it was supposed to be. Go down there and get some video of them training on how to put out fires. I wasn't even going to talk to anybody. It was just going to be just a video.
After dousing the boat with gasoline, Charles gets ready to torch it. But he gets a lot more than he bargained for. The gasoline fumes ignite, causing a huge explosion. Charles disappears from sight.
I didn't know if he was alive or if he was dead. I thought he was dead. I really did. I didn't think anyone could survive.
The fireball knocks Charles off his feet and the boat is completely engulfed in flames. Seconds pass and still no sign of him. Then, just as a rescue team pulls alongside the burning wreckage, Charles emerges from the fiery inferno.
My breathing apparatus had got hung up on the bottom of the boat, and all I could think of was the boat's going to go down and I can't get up, or I'm going to burn.
Once free, Charles barely escapes the flaming death trap. With no time to lose, he dives into the water and swims to safety.
I knew I was in trouble when I was 6 feet in the air and my feet were above my head and there was flames everywhere.
Watch closely. You can actually see Charles fly into the air. It's amazing that he survives.
I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky to get out with my life.
The day before his near-fatal accident, Charles found out that his wife, Janine, was pregnant. Now there are 2 extra people who are glad that he survived. His newborn twins, Max and Sydney. Busan, South Korea. A gas leak at a propane storage facility has erupted into a raging inferno. Firefighters scramble to contain the blaze before it spreads to these gas trucks. If one of these trucks explodes, it will ignite the 7 tons of liquid propane that are already boiling in these high-pressure tanks. Police and rescue workers quickly evacuate the area as helicopters and fire crews douse the trucks with foam and water. But the flames are too intense, and the gas in this tank truck is simply too hot. Then, disaster strikes. The tanker explodes, setting off a fiery chain reaction that consumes an entire city block. Despite evacuation efforts, thousands of innocent people in nearby buildings are placed in jeopardy.
The explosion blew flames up to 400 feet high. I thought the entire building was going to collapse down on top of us.
But the danger is far from over. The blast has ripped an enormous hole in the pavement, exposing huge underground storage tanks of liquid propane. Above ground, canisters of fuel continue to burst as firemen risk their lives in a desperate effort to control the volatile situation. Suddenly, the flames reach the underground tanks. Another devastating explosion rocks the city, sending a gigantic fireball into the sky. The blast scorches everything in its path. More than 60 people are injured, including 4 firefighters. 2 days later, the remaining tanks finally burn out. But this horrifying image will forever haunt the terrified people who lived through this fiery nightmare.
Still to come, a jet is sliced in two and comes crashing down. And a semi-truck is demolished by a speeding train. Later, a pilot crashes a fighter jet not once, but twice. When the world's most amazing videos returns.
Lafayette, Indiana. Amateur cameraman Mike Skaggs has spent the day videotaping trains. But at a quiet railroad crossing just outside of town, he gets the shot of a lifetime. The 6,000-ton freight train barrels down the tracks. Then, as it approaches the crossing, it slams into a stalled semi, with the terrified driver still trapped inside. The train crushes the truck, shoving it down the tracks more than 100 feet, before finally coming to a stop. Engineers can hardly believe it when they discover that the driver is still alive. This trucker learned the hard way that an 18-wheeler is just no match for 12 million pounds of rolling steel. Two Russian pilots, Sergei Trezvyatsky and Alexander Bieshnov, have come here to perform a dangerous synchronized flying maneuver in their MiG-29 jets. These two close friends have trained for this day for more than a year. When they take off, they have no way of knowing the terror that lies ahead. The veteran pilots start the routine with a daring high-speed pass. Alexander prepares for their next stunt by flying his plane into a reverse loop. Then he disappears into the clouds. Sergei loses sight of his comrade and makes a split-second decision to abort the routine. But suddenly, Alexander roars out of the cloud and smashes into Sergei's plane. The crowd watches in stunned disbelief.
Absolute shock and horror. I've never witnessed anything like that.
Watch again. The impact is devastating. Sergei's wing slams into his friend's aircraft, breaking it in two. Alexander's jet is now a giant fireball rocketing to the ground. Seconds after the collision, Sergei ejects. He cannot find Alexander. All he sees is a raging inferno at the end of the runway. Sergei's abandoned fighter jet crashes into a nearby field. As he floats to Earth, he finally spots Alexander's chute. As we watch again, we can see that Alexander is able to eject from the fiery fuselage just in time. Incredibly, both pilots are able to walk away from the horrific crash. It's a miracle that they made it out alive. Comoro Islands off the coast of East Africa. A couple on their honeymoon captures a horrific sight with their video camera. An Ethiopian air jetliner is flying dangerously low over the ocean. Suddenly, the plane breaks apart and crashes into the shallow water. Just 20 minutes after takeoff, 3 suicidal hijackers stormed the cockpit and refused to let the plane land. Now, out of fuel and running on only one engine, the pilot is forced to ditch in the ocean. Local residents race to the scene and mount a rescue effort. Amazingly, they find survivors. Among them is American businessman Ron McFarland, who remembers the pilot's terrifying last-minute warning.
There was an announcement by the pilot himself in very clear English. We have run out of fuel. Please, staff and crew members, take the appropriate actions for a crash landing.
Another American, Franklin Huddle, couldn't believe what he was hearing.
It wasn't until the pilot came on that it became clear that something had gone horribly wrong.
Passengers panic as the plane plunges into the sea. Franklin describes the chilling moment.
That engine caught on the water. A hard bump. Then it really dug in. It was like a 30 or 40 mile an hour car accident. And I said, uh-oh, I'm dead.
All Ron remembers is that it happened very fast.
The impact, the tearing up of the aircraft, the people throwing into the water, this is all less than 1 second.
The violent crash causes Franklin to black out. When he finally regains consciousness, he's still trapped in the wreckage, but his seat has been dislodged from the floor.
I woke up, I was floating in the water, my seatbelt still on. And I said, I'm alive. I looked immediately from my wife to my right, where she had been sitting, and she was gone. And I looked very quickly to my left, just like that. I started with my head, and I saw my wife sitting there. And I said, are you all right? She said, I'm okay.
The 3 hijackers responsible for this terrible crash were killed instantly. Looking at the mangled wreckage, it's hard to believe that 50 people could survive the tragedy. They owe their lives to the brave men and women of the Comoro Islands who reached out to help in their time of crisis. Test pilots have one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. No one knows that better than Lars Radestrom. Stockholm, Sweden. While landing an experimental jet plane, Lars loses control, careening across the tarmac and tumbling to a fiery stop. Incredibly, he survives the terrifying crash. Knowing that the odds of this happening again are 1,000,000 to 1, Lars returns to the skies in an air show over Stockholm. But suddenly, the odds turn against him. His jet makes a sharp turn and stalls. The fighter plane smashes to the ground and explodes on impact. Remarkably, Lars ejects. Just as the jet begins to plummet from the sky, enabling him to survive yet another near-fatal disaster. Not only is Lars lucky, but so are the hundreds of onlookers who are watching from a nearby bridge. Instead of slamming into the crowd, the plane crashes in an empty park a few hundred feet away. Miraculously, no one is seriously injured. As for Lars, he decides not to tempt fate again. He is now retired.
Up next, a movie stunt goes bad underwater, threatening to drown the driver inside. And a high-speed chase ends in a devastating crash when the world's most amazing videos continues.
Sacramento, California. As cameras roll, Bobby Karpowitz gets ready to perform a dangerous stunt. Traveling at high speed, Bobby has to overturn the Jeep and plunge it into the frigid water, then escape the vehicle before he drowns. Stunt coordinator Ricky D knows that there are big risks involved.
We had a lot of safety equipment and precautionary measures in line. We had the divers with the tanks on, with the regulators. We had knives in case there was something that had to be cut.
The veteran crew has performed hundreds of these safety checks before.
I don't want any glass getting in you right in the face there. Can you see out of that okay, buddy?
The stuntmen are like brothers. For these guys, it's more than just doing a good job. There's a deeper connection. They know the precautions they take now can mean the difference between life and death.
Let's do it. We're in there. We're in there.
There's excitement on the set as Bobby pulls the truck into position. Take one.
Arms away here he goes.
Realizing he hasn't built up enough speed, Bobby aborts.
Rolling. Okay, cut.
Take two. Bobby gets the truck up to speed, but fails to flip it. Frustration is building.
We were having trouble getting the vehicle to turn over. The ground was wet. The vehicle wasn't going fast enough, and then we had to pull him back out for the third attempt.
Feeling the conditions aren't right, the director considers shutting down. But Bobby convinces him to give it one more try.
This is going to be the last take on this, and if we don't get it, we don't use it. We don't go.
He's done it. But the crew's exhilaration quickly turns to horror. There's no sign of Bobby. Diver George Anthus is the first to realize his friend is trapped and drowning.
Within seconds, we knew that we could have a problem here. The vehicle was filling full of water. There was no movement.
Bobby! Cut him open! Cut it! Get some more guys!
But the seatbelts won't release. Bobby is pinned upside down. Now it's a frantic race against time to save him.
I cut the first seatbelt, and he wasn't coming out. Ricky D grabbed the knife from me and started working on the other one while I got the air down to his mouth.
Ricky tries to give Bobby an air tube, but the stuntman is so panicked he won't open his mouth.
At that point, I knew we were running out of time. There wasn't much air left.
Blindly feeling his way through the murky water, Ricky grabs the seatbelt and slashes it. Bobby is free, but is he okay?
Is he breathing? All right, Bobby!
Bobby has survived. Another few seconds and he might not have made it. When Ricky realizes how close he came to seeing his friend die, he is overcome with emotion.
Close, man. Oh my God.
I truly felt that we had lost a stuntman, a good friend of mine, and it was a horrible feeling.
Bobby!
Sao Paulo, Brazil. At a fireworks festival, thousands of spectators watch in awe as rockets are launched from skybound balloons. One after another, the balloons take flight and light up the heavens with a dazzling display of pyrotechnics. But as the crew prepares to send the next balloon aloft, disaster strikes. Barely off the ground, a spark causes the payload of fireworks to explode. Within seconds, thousands of Roman candles become missiles, sending terrified onlookers running for their lives. Just when it appears that the crisis is over, Flaming pieces of rubber from the burning balloon rain down on crates of nearby fireworks, setting off even more explosions. The fiery torpedoes strike the stampeding spectators. Thankfully, no one is killed. But the people at this festival will never forget just how dangerous fireworks can be. New Delhi, India. An electrical fire turns an office building into a blazing 12-story inferno. There are no sprinklers, and the fire escapes are blocked. Hundreds of terrified workers have no choice but to climb up to the roof and wait to be rescued. An Air Force helicopter arrives to pull the panicked people from the burning building. The chopper's blades only fan the flames, and the rescue is called off. Meanwhile, the victims who are still trapped inside frantically plead for help. Firefighters spray them with water in a desperate attempt to hold back the searing heat. Workers from a nearby construction site use their crane in an attempt to reach the 6th floor window, but they come up short. Now the entire floor is engulfed in flames, and the victims are forced out onto the window ledge. A fire truck with a high-rise ladder finally arrives. Firefighters fear that the victims will lose hope and jump. Time is of the essence, so the rescuers quickly extend the ladder. It barely reaches. The victims manage to climb down to safety. But those on the roof are still fighting for their lives. The firefighters can't get to the rooftop, so the construction workers mount another rescue attempt. They rig a makeshift bridge out of rope and bamboo and stretch it across the street to the building. With fire quickly racing to the top floor, the terrified victims slowly make their way across the unstable structure. At 120 feet in the air, one misstep could spell disaster. One by one, the trembling office workers crawled across the bridge, knowing it could collapse at any moment. But incredibly, it holds. More than 300 people make it out safely and are tearfully reunited with their loved ones. Phoenix, Arizona. The driver of this speeding Corvette is on the run from the police. The high-speed chase began when an officer attempted to pull over a stolen car, and the suspect decided to flee. Now he's racing through the desert at speeds of more than 150 miles per hour. He's driving so fast the police can't catch him. Although two of the car's tires are worn flat, the suspect refuses to give up. But then, two 18-wheelers get in his way. The driver passes one truck, then dodges another, when suddenly, his luck runs out. Watch again. The suspect spins out of control and slams into the rear of one of the trucks. The high-speed collision shears off the roof of his car and sends the driver flying. He skids across the ground and collapses. Police officers immediately close in. They arrest the suspect and take him to a hospital. It's hard to believe that anyone could survive such a devastating crash, but he does. The big rig has little more than a scratch on its bumper, but the Corvette is a total loss. The suspect is treated for his injuries and sent to jail.
If you want to watch more amazing videos, then we have the link for you. Just check the links in the description to watch full videos on Google Drive and the Internet Archive.
Or just use the links to archive the show yourself if you want to. Take advantage of this in case the show becomes lost to media, so you can watch more amazing videos today.
Melbourne, Australia. The Winter Nationals auto race is underway. Racer Romeo Capitanio eases his nitro fuel dragster to the starting line. Romeo jumps into the lead when suddenly his tires explode, causing the vehicle to flip over and burst into flames. Watch again. As the car catapults onto its side, Romeo's head scrapes along the racetrack. The dragster finally grinds to a halt, but Romeo is still trapped inside. And the car's high-octane fuel could explode at any second. Rescue teams rush in to extinguish the flames and pull him from the wreckage. Incredibly, Romeo is up and out of the car. His helmet has saved his life. As we look again, we can see just how close he came to death. Without warning, Romeo's rear tires burst into shreds, sending him careening into his opponent's lane. With almost no time to react, the other driver releases his chute, slowing his car and avoiding a devastating collision. Miraculously, both drivers managed to escape without injury.
This is a 459 suspect. We're following an Ford AW54 does advise suspect is known to carry a weapon.
Los Angeles, California. A burglary suspect is on the run and heading for the Mexican border. But this is not your average high-speed chase.
54, Roger. Advise there may be an infant in the vehicle.
The driver has kidnapped his 1-year-old son and is holding him hostage. Chopper pilots can see the child's teddy bear in the back of the car. Meanwhile, U.S. Customs Agent Al Morales is busy guarding the border. He has no idea that he is about to play a major role in the police pursuit. The 90-mile-an-hour chase is brought to a halt as the suspect gets caught in heavy traffic. But he maneuvers around the other cars on the shoulder of the road.
We're on the 5 now, going up the right shoulder at 38 miles an hour.
Fearing for the baby's safety, officers can only follow along as the suspect weaves dangerously in and out of traffic.
Guys, take your time here.
An officer approaches the driver, but he makes a break for it. Another traffic jam stops him just 30 feet short of the border. Police officers rush the car with their guns drawn, demanding that the man hand over the baby and give himself up. But when an officer smashes in the window, the suspect dives into the back seat. Incredibly, the desperate man holds a knife to his own son's throat. But there is no time to wait for a negotiator to arrive. Agent Morales, who has no training in these situations, bravely takes control.
I was just talking to him, telling him to hand over the baby, that everything was okay, that nobody was going to hurt him. And he started talking, responding to me.
As Morales begins to reason with the kidnapper, his primary concern is the child's well-being.
He didn't want the baby hurt. That was our goal, to get the baby to safety.
Morales agrees to let the man cross the border on one condition. He must first put down the knife.
After talking to him and negotiating a little bit, he removed it from the baby and put it on himself.
The car door opens and the man emerges, using his son as a human shield. Fearing that there might not be another chance to apprehend him, the police officer blasts the suspect with mace. Fortunately, it misses the baby. But the kidnapper panics. Morales moves closer. The suspect is once again convinced to leave his vehicle. As the men make their way slowly toward the border, the suspect makes his move. Watching again, we can see that a second shot of mace enables Morales to grab the child. Then, an officer with a police dog trips the suspect. The man is quickly captured on Mexican soil. Authorities return the kidnapper to the United States, where charges filed against him include child endangerment and evading arrest. During questioning, he seems strangely unaware of the serious threats he made to his own son's life.
At no time was my son in any kind of danger whatsoever. I would have never done anything to my son.
Fortunately, the baby is unharmed. Thanks to the heroic efforts of the police and the bravery of Agent Al Morales, the suspect is now behind bars. Los Angeles, California. This man claims to have been injured at work. He's seen here leaving his doctor's office, wearing a neck brace and limping along on crutches. But he's unaware that he's being videotaped by private investigator Aaron Stipkovich.
We had a tip about him faking an on-the-job accident from other employees. We stuck to him like glue 24 hours a day, about 3 or 4 days.
Okay, it's pulling out. Stand by.
The suspect hopes to collect $600,000 from his insurance company. But Stipkovich is determined to prove that his injuries are bogus.
Hey, Mobile 1 to Mobile 2, it looks like he's turning left on the I Street.
Roger, I have him in sight.
The man drives home and hobbles into his house. 20 minutes later, he steps back outside to pick up his newspaper. But notice, no crutches. Then he turns to re-enter his home. And while no one seems to be looking, he rips off his neck brace.
Okay, collar's off. Stand by.
Roger.
When I saw the neck brace come off, I knew the turn of events had just begun.
Moments later, the suspect reemerges.
Get down, get down, get down.
Carrying 2 heavy suitcases.
Okay, it's coming out. It's coming out. Stand by.
This is the moment that Stipkovich has been waiting for.
Mobile 1, Mobile 2, stand by. He's leaving.
Convinced the coast is clear, the suspect hauls the luggage to his truck and puts it in the back. Then he hops in and drives away.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
This con man thought he had it all figured out. But instead of collecting the insurance money, he is arrested, fined $50,000, and sent to jail.
We've done, I would have to say, at least hundreds of cases. In this case, this was one of the best actors we've seen.
Okay, it's coming out. It's coming out. Stand by. Get down, get down, get down.
Little Rock, Arkansas. A thief breaks into an electronics store in a shopping mall. He's wearing a plastic bag over his head to conceal his identity from the security camera. There's just one problem. He's made the eye hole so small that he can't see. Take another look. Blinded by his own disguise, the man trips and falls, triggering the burglar alarm and bumping his head. But the klutzy crook doesn't give up. Minutes later, with the alarm still ringing, he returns with bigger peepholes. This time, he hits pay dirt and walks away with $1,600 in merchandise. But the bungling burglar has made another mistake. The man is actually a security guard at this same shopping mall. When the police see this tape, they recognize the pinstripe pants of his uniform.
He's a long way from being a mastermind at doing criminal acts.
The man is sentenced to 5 years probation, fined, and fired from his job.
If they were all with this type of criminal mind, we could catch everybody that does a crime.
These were some of the craziest moments seen around the world. True stories of real people in real danger. See you next time for more of the world's most amazing videos.
Hey, push. What the fuck? You were like a brother. To all of us. You motherfucker. Son of a bitch!